everyone, Carice Busby. I am a mortgage banker. I help people buy homes and finance their homes. I made my first million by the time I hit 35, and I've helped many people over the years hit their first million. I also have extensive experience owning and managing real estate and building wealth through real estate as well as with the markets. I love to educate people through this complex process called money and finance. And today I am talking about how to make your first $1,000,000. That seems to always be the toughest for people. How do you get to that first million? This is a tried and true method. This is a method I use when I give people advice. I'm excited to walk you through it today. But before we go any further, please subscribe to my channel so you never miss any of the new content that I'm always putting out. And don't forget to follow me on social media. How do you get to that first $1,000,000? Most people think that getting to your first $1,000,000 is luck, huge income, or perfect timing. And you know what? It really isn't. It's consistently doing the stuff you need to do over time, like being disciplined and being consistent. There's a repeatable pattern to building wealth, and we're going to dive into that. There's really about 6 steps that go into it, and it's about making your money work harder for you than you did for it. What you're trying to do is make that first dollar you earn continue to repeat and build on itself and scale for you. The first thing is really about controlling your cash flow. You've got to know what's going on with your money. Know what's coming in, know what's going out. You've got to assign every dollar a job. What do I mean by every dollar has a job? Well, in my budget, I look at 50% of your money should go to needs, 30% should go to wants, and 20% should go to savings. Now, what that means is whenever the dollar comes in, it's going to go into one of those categories. It's either going to go into needs, wants, or savings. So every single dollar has a job. It doesn't just sit idle. Wealth starts with control, not income. There's a lot of people. I've seen people that make $50,000 a year, but they're great at controlling their money. So they have more money over time. I've seen people that make $200,000 that don't have as much money in their portfolio as somebody that was making the $50,000. And the only difference is they don't have control of their money. They don't know what's coming in and they don't know what's going out. So that's really a key, is controlling your cash flow. Number 2, building a financial foundation. Before you invest, you need stability. Have an emergency savings account. That is so important. In my opinion, you should have always 6 to 12 months of what your monthly bills are. So if your bills are, $5,000 a month, you need to really have anywhere from $30,000 to $60,000 saved up. And that money should go into a high yield savings account where it's liquid, it's earning a good rate of return, but you have access to it if you need it. That's going to be your first step in the stability phase of this. The second is really managing your debt. Go through and look at what your debt is. Like, do you have a lot of credit cards? Do you have student loans? Do you have car loans? There's good debt, there's bad debt. Credit cards is bad debt, student loans is good debt, and car loans is really kind of neutral. So what you do in a case like that is you're going to look at what's the highest interest rates that you're paying. And you're going to use the waterfall method, which is if you have a credit card that has a 27% interest rate on it, and you have a credit card with a 22% interest rate on it, you're going to pay down the credit card with a 27% interest rate on it because it's putting you behind every single month. So managing that debt is huge. Then what you've got to do is maintain consistent income and save 20%. You've got to pay yourself first. That's the saving the 20%. You're never going to get ahead of the game if you don't save that 20%. Now, when you save that 20%, we go back to step 1, which is controlling your cash flow. You got to put it into the emergency savings where it's earning money. You don't just let it sit idle, or it would go into another account like a 401k or an investment account. Maintaining consistent income, though, like with a stable job or how you're bringing in money, is very, very important. Stability allows you to take smart risks in the future, like buying a house, getting ready to buy a house, or down the road when you're ready to buy a rental property. By having that stability, it allows you those options. The third step is buy your first asset. You do not build wealth by saving alone. That's just the first step. You build wealth by owning assets and investing. So, when you buy your first asset, for most people, that's going to be a primary residence that they're going to own. Now, for some people, depending on the market that they're in, that might actually be a rental property. So, let's talk about the primary residence first. So, you need a place to live. Currently, you're paying rent likely. So now you buy that primary residence. That's going to satisfy a few things. First of all, it's going to give you a place to live. And the monthly payment that you pay is actually going towards owning that home over time versus paying your landlord's rent, which helps them buy that house. Now, sometimes, the market is too expensive for somebody to start with a primary home. So they may choose to go into a less expensive market where they can buy a rental property. At least they're buying a piece of real estate, owning a piece of real estate, putting a renter in there. Renter covers the mortgage. And in either case, it goes to the goal of building equity, either with a primary residence or with a rental property. Over time, as that payment is made, you're going to own more of the house, and the appreciation of the market is going to act like a silent savings account over time. What owning real estate does is you use leverage, which is getting a loan. It's my recommendation that you don't use a lot of your cash to buy those properties. Put the down payment that you need to put in to buy that property, but don't pay cash for the property and don't put more than a 20% down payment into it, because you know what? The moment you sink that money into the house, sure, you have bragging rights. You have a lot of equity in your house. The challenge for you is that money has stopped working for you because you've now lost the ability to let that money be an agent for you and build off of itself. Let's walk through an example. Let's take a $500,000 house. You want to put 20% down. So you use $100,000 of your money for the down payment. Whatever you have left in your bank account now, let's say you have $200,000 left. You can now go invest that. That money is going to replicate off itself. It's going to earn off of itself. But let's say you used all $300,000 of your money and put that into the house. Yeah, great. You have a lower payment. Your mortgage is only $200,000. Your payment is lower than having a mortgage at $400,000. But now you've sunk all $300,000 of your money into that house. You now can't go put that into another investment vehicle like high yield savings account, into the market, into the S&P. Right now, the S&P is averaging about 10% a year on return on investment. So if you were to put that other $200,000 into the S&P, that's basically giving you a profit of, $20,000. So you'd miss out on that. Those are the types of things you want to be smart about your investing. Yes, you need to do a down payment, but you need to hold money back so that you can keep it working for you. The biggest question to ask is, does this move me forward financially? That's very important. If the answer is no, don't do it. If the answer is yes, then it makes sense to do it. Step 4 is really use leverage and time. This is where wealth compounds because you're using someone else's money to make money yourself. This is what rich people do. Rich people rarely own properties free and clear. Most of them have mortgages on them. You know why? Because they're borrowing. They're using other people's money to make their appreciation and their profit because they can replicate it a lot easier. Let's take the example we just had a few minutes ago. Let's say you have $300,000, okay? You could buy 3 houses with that $300,000. You could buy 3 $500,000 houses. You could put $100,000 down on each one of them. Now you've got 20% down on each house. That's a very, very respectable down payment. You have a $400,000 mortgage. You go ahead and you put renters in each of those houses. Over time, the renters are going to pay down that mortgage for you, and market appreciation is going to happen. So the house is going to keep going up in value. But see what I mean? I took, instead of buying one house and putting all 300,000 into that one house, I now took that 300,000 and bought 3 houses. Over time, that's how you scale. That's how you let it replicate, and that's how you let it multiply. That's how you get to $1 million. Leverage lets you control larger assets. Time builds equity, appreciation, and loan paydown. Wealth is built on consistency, not quickly. Be very wary of get-rich-quick schemes. I've had people call me and pitch deals that are, hey, you can get 10 times your money, 20 times your money. You know what? Sometimes those deals can work out, but it's rare that they do. The real money is made over doing the same things consistently over time and keeping your money invested in the markets. That's how you're going to make money, because you're letting your money scale for you. The 5th step is keep your money moving. Most people build equity and stop. Wealthy people reinvest and scale. So what that means, as they own properties and those properties increase with equity, they borrow against that. They pull money back out, because what they can do is the ratio of how much the payment goes up for the amount of money that they're able to get out is negligible for what they can do and what they can control now with having that extra cash. They can now go buy another property, or they can put that money into the market. It's all about controlling assets. Wealthy people move money into new opportunities. Again, could be real estate, residential, commercial, could be the markets. Money that just sits idle loses power, and you don't want to do that. And the 6th step is scale and strategy. Now you accelerate, build multiple assets, diversify investments. This is not about adding more risk. It's about better strategy. You're going to have to, like you normally would, every year, you should always be looking at your portfolio and go, well, okay, am I diversified? Do I have my risk kind of covered? Do I have my risk reward covered? Every once in a while, you're going to have to take a look. I recommend yearly, you should take a look at your portfolio and decide maybe we need to make some adjustments. Are you too heavy in the market, but not enough in real estate? Are you too heavy in real estate, not enough in the market? Because that isn't good either. You don't want to have all of your money in real estate, nothing in the market, or everything in the market, nothing in real estate. Look for diversification and options. And the reason why wealthy people do this so well is because what happens when you get into recessions is recessions are going to affect real estate differently than they're going to affect the markets. And so by having that diversification, you give yourself a hedge so that you're protected in a case where maybe real estate's going down, the market will still go up, and vice versa. Your first million is going to come from having a system, not one deal. So if you're hinging it all on one deal, that's the wrong way to look at it. Again, consistency over time is what's going to build that $1 million. You know, in the last 10 years, we've had what I call a lot of accidental millionaires. They went to work at the right company, they got a bunch of stock, and they got big bonuses, they got a nice big salary, and they became accidental millionaires. And they didn't know what to do with their money. They don't know what to do with the stock. They don't know how to manage the stock, but they're all in stock. Then it came time, I'm going to buy this nice big house that I want to have. Great. Real estate's a great investment. So they cashed out all their stock and put a huge down payment on a house, or they paid cash. Guess what? Great. They have bragging rights. They don't have a payment. But now that money, it stopped scaling for them. That stock that they sold at 200, Now it's at 250. They missed out on all that scale that they could have had. Had they just taken part of the stock out, put it as a down payment, kept the rest of it in, making money on top. Again, all about scale. Making your first million isn't complicated, but it requires discipline. Control your money, build a foundation, invest, and stay consistent. That is truly the key. Your money should work harder for you than you did for it. Once you hit your first $1 million, it's wash, rinse, and repeat. It's not brain surgery. It's not difficult. Once you get there, you just do the same thing. And it replicates. It's actually easier to make your next million because you've already done it once and you can scale. You have a foundation to scale. And the last thing, always keep your money moving and working for you. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure and subscribe to my channel. I have a huge passion for helping people understand money and finance. Please drop me a comment if you have any kind of questions at all. And please follow me on social media so you don't miss some of the great content that I put out. And until next time.